Hello everyone, this is James Peterson here. Today I'm going to show you how to create an animated story using Microsoft PowerPoint. What is an animated story? Well, it's basically telling a story using animations and graphics. And so let me give you a little demo. This was an animation I created for a healthcare program. It's on communicating with patients, how to communicate with patients when you're going to the waiting room. Communicating with patients as you're walking to the medical room and so on. So the nice thing about animations is that the animations actually tell the story for you. You don't need words. And so there's a lot of different uses for this. It's very useful for describing processes because it shows every step in the process very clearly. It's also very good for communicating if you're communicating to people who speak English as their second language, or if you yourself have trouble communicating in English. This is a great way to communicate visually. So what I'm going to do is let me show you how I created this story. Now the first thing what you need to do is you need to create your background. So go to the insert on the top, and I'm going to create my room first. So I'm going to just use a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a big rectangle here. Okay, so that's my room. Now the next thing which I want to do is create a bed. So let me just use another rectangle for the bed. Now I need a blanket on top of the bed, so I'm going to put a blanket here. And then I need a pillow on top of that. So here we go, there's my pillow. You can adjust the sizes of everything after and adjust the location. What I'm going to do now is I am going to change the color. So go to the drawing toolbar and go to Shape Fill. And then you can just choose a color which you'd like. So I'll just use blue for that. For this one here, I'm going to just use white. And for my pillow, I'm going to use white. You can also add shape effects like a shadow. So I could just put a shadow for my pillow to make it look more like a pillow, for example. One of the things which you should do for all of your objects is when you get them together, you should kind of group them so that this becomes one single object. And that way, whoops, I accidentally collected that. So now I can adjust that. So there's my bed. Okay. Now I want to add some furniture to this room. So I'll go to Insert, then I'll go to Clip Art. Now one of the things which I'm going to type in here is Layout, because there's a lot of overhead views of furniture here if you type in Layout. And they have sofas, chairs, and so on. So maybe I want to put in a chair. So there we go. I've got my chair here. Okay. Maybe I also want to put in a table. Now this one looks just like a desk, but if you just change the size and shape of it a little bit, now it looks like an end table. And there's all kinds of things which you can add to this room. You can add a light, or that could be hospital equipment, if you had distorted or something to that effect. And telephones. Here's a doorway, so I could put a door down here. Whoops. I can put this door down here, and so on. Okay. Once you have the room just the way you like it, my recommendation is to get it all into one piece. So drag all the way over, and then go to Drawing Tools, and then go up here to Group and Group. Now this is all one object. Okay, so that's step one, is create your background. Okay, now we're going to create a moving object, and the moving object is the little man who's on top. Now I'll show you how I created mine. It's very simple. Just create a rounded rectangle. Okay, then on top of that, put his face. And then on top of that, you just need to have his hair. Okay, and we'll just slide that into place here. And that's that. And I might just make his face just a little bigger, maybe. Something to that effect. Okay, and then you can just decide on his colors. Go to Drawing Tools, and you can decide on the colors. Maybe I'll put him in a gray suit. Maybe I'll also give him black hair. And then I have to choose some sort of skin color. And here's a skin color, for example. And you're going to probably change the line colors. The line colors are the shape outline, so you might just do black outlines. And I see that somehow my skin didn't turn out. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my little character. Once you have your character, again, group it together so that it becomes one object. So you go over top of it, you go to drawing tools, and then click group. Now you just have one character here. Okay. I want to show you just one last thing about drawings is if you create your picture in a different order than I created them. For example, let's say you created the head first and then you created the body second. Notice how now the body is on top of the head. If you just want to move the head back on top, just go to drawing tools and you see this bring forward or send backward. You can use these. So I'm going to just bring it forward would be one layer, or bring it to the front was right up to the top. And so you fix that problem. Okay. So step 2 was create your moving object. And I've created a little bit of a nicer one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy and paste it. And now we're going to step 3, which is creating your animation. So I'm copying and pasting my object on top of my background. Now what I'm going to do is I want this character to run out of the room and turn right and run down the hallway. So how am I going to do that? Well, the first thing which you're going to do is click on animations on the top here. And I'm going to add my animation pane so that I can see what's happening. And then I'm going to go to add animation, and I am going to go down here to what's called custom path. And what this allows me to do is this allows me to draw a path for this character. And you just double click at the end and you can see what that character did. And the animation, it shows it here. Okay. Now if I go into slideshow mode, you can see what's going to happen. See, so that character has gone there. Okay. Now I want my character to turn. So I'm going to add animation, and I want my character to turn to the right. So I'm going to go to emphasis, and I'm going to go to spin. And now the character is spinning 360 degrees. What we want is we want the character to just spin 90 degrees. So let's go to effect options. It says 360 clockwise. Let's go to a quarter spin. Okay, and you can test it out and see, and clockwise seems to be the right direction. You can also change it to counterclockwise. Okay, so now let's see what happens. I click my mouse once, he goes out of the room, then I click again and he turns that way. Okay, now the next thing which I want to do is I want him to run out of the room. Now I don't think he's going out of the room far enough. I can make this a little bit longer, this animation, so that he goes a little bit farther. So now let's see. He runs out of the room and he turns. Okay. And now the last thing which I want him to do is I want him to run out of the room. So I'm going to add another animation. Okay. And again, I am going to just scroll down to custom path. Now from the end of this red line, I'm going to just draw another line and completely off screen, and we'll see how he goes. Okay. Now if that's not long enough, I could just make it a little bit longer. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's see how that goes. So here he goes. He goes out, he turns, and he runs off the screen. Okay. Now, one of the things which you need to do is I want to have all of this happen at once. So right now, take a look. It says start on click. What I want to do is I want it to start after the previous one. So let's try start after previous and start after previous. So now I only click the mouse once and it's going to do all of those things. I'm clicking my mouse one time and now there he's turning and going. Now that looks a little bit unrealistic, his turn. So let's change this to start with previous. So he's going to start turning as he's walking. Okay, and let's see what that happens. So here we go. Here he's going and he's starting to walk down. So maybe that animation still looks a little unrealistic with the timing. There's a few things which you can change, and I just recommend that you play with it. Some of the things which you'll want to change are the effect options. And I think what makes this animation look a little funny is because he's stopping here, and that's probably the smooth start and smooth end. So let's just get rid of the smooth start and smooth end, okay? And we can do that for the same one up here. And so let's go to effect options. And we are going to get rid of especially the smooth end. We want him to start walking slowly, but between these two animations here, we don't want any slowdown or speed up. So that's why I'm not having a smooth end, okay? You can also adjust the timing of the different animations. You know, I could have this person turn very quickly or slowly or something. So I go to timing and it says medium speed or so on. But I think the speed of this was fine. Okay, but you're just going to play with the animations and see what looks good. So here we go. Let's see. I've gotten rid of the smooth options, and there we go. And he just keeps right on going. So that looks a little bit better. So let me end this with a little bit of a demonstration. This is a presentation I created to show how infecting agents might be spread in a hospital. Basically, the key point about animations is you're able to communicate a lot of information in a short period of time, and you're able to show a complete process. And it's very useful for communicating to people who speak English as a second language because it's a very visual way of communicating. So this is just one other tool which you can use for your presentations.